Ollie, as I understand it, you have what, I have to tell you, is a bit of a surprise to me. I learn something every day. It's very unusual at my age, but nevertheless, I do. And in your case, you have an interest in a group. What's a group called?
BTS. It's a K-pop band.
Now, I don't know what K-pop is. It sounds to me like something you'd have for breakfast instead of Weetabix. You've spent a great deal of your energy and time changing your body and face to look like Jimin, a person who I now know is a member of, what are they, Boyzone or something?
BTS.
BTS. Josh, you've been friends with Ollie for the better part of, well, since 2015. About 3 years.
That's correct.
And you've been good friends, correct?
Yes.
Now, 2017, knowing each other well as you did, you planned a holiday. Sir, when you were invited on holiday, what did you understand the holiday was going to be? What was it going to look like?
To be honest, when we spoke about it, it was after watching Sex and the City. And,
Just pause for a second. I thought perhaps somebody was going to say, there you are. Could have been something incredibly cultural. Death in Venice, Casablanca. You were watching Sex and the City, and so...
First time I'd watched it.
Well, perhaps, well, if you know what's good for you culturally, it'll be the last time. Point is, June or July, you decide to go on holiday together, and that's about a month before you leave, correct?
Correct.
Who books the holiday, Ollie?
I booked it. We booked a specific hotel that
Well, you booked a very expensive hotel. Which hotel was it?
It was Atlantis, so, and I didn't even want to stay there, but it was his idea to stay there, so...
Why did you want to stay at the Atlantis?
I'd just say he wanted to stay in the city, because I think he was thinking, like, London, you want to be as central as possible, but, like, in Dubai, you don't want to do that. You want to be, like, towards the coast. Like, the Palm is actually the best place to
Near
be.
the beach, near the beach.
Yeah, the Palm. Like, David Beckham, Victoria Beckham, they have, like, a house there. Like, it's really posh.
You thought you might bump into the Beckhams?
Hopefully, yeah, that'd be nice, you know. You never know, you know.
And what would you say to a Beckham?
I'd ask for a selfie, for a start.
You'd bump into David Beckham and ask for a selfie. Anything else?
There's a few things I'd like to ask him, but...
It's August. You make clear that there is a joint purpose for this trip. At some point, you start what I'm going to loosely describe as doing research. What research were you doing?
Well, I kind of was researching doing a bit of procedures in Dubai, like a bit of surgery, because I thought, why not? We're going to be there for a week and a half. I can fit in a procedure while I'm there. Now,
did you know, before you'd agreed to go on this holiday, that Ollie had intended to use it as... This is what it's described as, you see. Some people describe it as health tourism, but it's cosmetic surgery tourism.
To be honest, no. You know, up until then, I thought it was just going to be a holiday to be us two. But then, you know, when I found out, literally, it was like, what, a week before we was going?
How long before the flight is going to leave and the holiday is going to start? Because this all happens very last minute in the great scheme of booking holidays for most people. How long before the flight is going to leave do you disclose to Josh, by the way, in addition to our lovely time at the Atlantis, etc., I'll be leaving for a couple of days. What happened? How long?
I only told him like a week before because I'm last minute, and he obviously didn't take it well, but then he was ignoring me.
You only booked it last minute, so your point is an important one, very valid one. You got that notification. What was your reaction?
I was like, well, what the hell, Ollie? Like, you know, what are we going to do there? Like, obviously, and I said to him, I was like, what does that mean? Like, I said, I assume that means after you've had that surgery, you can't go in the water. And he was like, no, I can't do that. I was like, OK, so it rules out all the water sports, all the water parks, all that sort of stuff. And I said, well, I'm assuming you're going to be tired as well. And he was like, yeah, I'll be tired. So, like, you know, it rules out a few days of, like, you know, going shopping and all this sort of stuff, you know, things that we could do together. You know, and also being in the sun, like, you know, and he said, like, you know, he stood there, Taran said to me, he said, oh, well, you can go in the water park and I'll just sit on a sun lounger underneath an umbrella. I was like, oh, what, so I'm meant to go in the water park on my own? Go around the water park on my own, like, and while you're just sitting there sipping your cocktail?
In other words, it changed the nature and quality of the purpose of the holiday.
Yeah.
You had been told that you had a companion and it was going to be a mutually enjoyable event, when, in fact, what ultimately happened, by virtue of what he did, was that you were becoming effectively a supporter in somebody having surgery. Is that about right?
Yeah.
What's your response to that?
No, it was no big deal. Like, I looked after myself. I was in hospital for 1 night. Look after myself. Like, shouldn't affect. Like, I could sit in the water park. I could sit on the sun lounger, but it's not a big deal. Like, I don't even like theme parks anyway. You knew that, but you were kind of just pressuring me to go there, so whatever.
What happened? Did you go on the holiday anyway?
Yeah, I had to go on my own. Like, I had no choice. I booked it, so I went. I had a few days touring, and then I had the surgery, went to the desert. But it was quite sad because I was on my own. I was going to restaurants, you know, sat on my own. And I just thought, what kind of friend does that to someone?
At some point, Ollie, you reminded Josh, I think when you got back or thereabouts, well, just before, that he owed you this money by text. How much did he owe you?
He owed me half of the Atlantis hotel, which was like £582.52.
£582.50.
That was just for the Atlantis hotel, yeah.
And is that what you're suing for?
Yes, yeah.
Why are you not suing him for any of the other costs of the holiday?
Like, the other costs, like the flight, I paid with my points, and the other hotels weren't as expensive. But it's the Atlantis. I never wanted to stay there in the first place. He was the one that decided. I said I didn't want to stay there, it's far away. But, you know, he said that, and I was like, OK, I booked it. And then he just started ignoring my texts after I told him.
Why do you say you don't owe this money, sir?
Because I think, you know, I was, like, led to agree to go in there to begin with on false pretences. Also, no, I did ignore him. That's all right, because I was just peed off with him, to be honest. Like, really, you know, upset.
Yeah, but you should have spoke to me about it.
Yeah, OK, I should have spoke to you about it. But then you did block me 3 days before we was meant to go, and I was actually... if I'm honest, I was debating whether to go or not to go. I kind of was going to go in the end, but you did block me, and when I did try to get hold of you, and for a mutual friend, I couldn't get hold of you.
What did that do to you to be on your own, Ollie?
I was upset. I mean, fair enough, I'm going into the surgery, it's my decision. But after that, like, I was on my own for a week and a half, and, you know, Dubai is a place where you go with friends. Like, being on your own was so lonely, so I was stuck in all the restaurants on my own, you know, walking around the hotels, nothing to do. I was stuck on that island in the Palm because it was so far from anywhere.
Oh, there you are. What's that on the right-hand side?
OK, that's me in the desert before I had my surgery. I went to... So I did do some cultural things, Judge Rinder. Like, I wasn't just there for the doctor. I actually did do some sightseeing.
Excellent.
Me in the desert.
I'm sure that that's exactly what... that the makers of Sex and the City will be thoroughly thrilled that they've inspired you.
Well, it's kind of glamorous.
How
They did actually go to the desert.
Do you feel a little bit bad? What's this done to your friendship?
Yeah, I feel gutted. You know, we were like brothers. We were really close.
Well, you're a hard-working person, and I feel whatever happens moving forward, that this can be repaired regardless of the money. But sadly, Ollie, you made a critical error here. And the error you made was that when you got Josh to agree to come with you as a companion on holiday, and you paid the money for him, you didn't get it in writing. It's called having an intention to create legal relations. In other words, neither party seriously thought you were going to sue each other. Because of that, you don't have an enforceable contract against Josh. Although I have to tell you, cancelling the holiday as near to the departure date as he did caused you real difficulty. And morally speaking, just as he admits, he ought to pay you this money. And I suspect in due course, he'll find a way of doing it. Don't be stupid. Stay and watch the best Judge Rinder moments. And I'm talking. Understood? Don't be a moron. Subscribe to Judge Rinder YouTube channel. Right now. That's an order.